You know here that we are big supporters of Ukraine here on this channel. We are very, very pro-Ukraine. But one of the things we've touched on very, very lightly, and of course on Geoscope, we've tried to sort of keep an eye on what's been going on with the Ukraine aid. Because for over 6 months now, this aid has been delayed. Um, and honestly, at this point, I can say this looks like it was done on purpose. Like this had to have been done on purpose. Very, very much so by elements of the far right wing of the Republican Party. Because oh boy, did they try to scupper this again. And we'll get into some of the stuff that they got up to in a moment. But oh boy, hey, there's a reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene, or MGT, depending how you want to call her, has gained the moniker Moscow Marjorie. I do believe she should just be called that. And I think it would be amazing to see Democrats just outright calling her that from now on. Um, would be pretty fantastic to see. But we'll get into that at the moment. But to be honest, I think it is very, very, very good news that finally, after all this time, Ukraine aid is finally going there. In fact, you can tell that the US has been preparing for this to send this aid as quickly as it can for some time. With, I think, the US Army came out and said that it can get at least some of that aid, or initially some of it, to Ukraine within a week. And of course, the rest will follow. But the fact that that aid will once again finally start flowing to Ukraine, especially at this time, is more important than ever, because we have seen Russia make some not major but very, very minor territorial gain, trying to sort of get Ukraine into this meat grinder conflict of just throwing its manpower advantage at Ukraine. And as we've said before, no country can have a manpower advantage forever. Even Russia is having horrendous losses. We covered this on the Pony Club very recently. The BBC article looking at their losses there. There is the incident from just a couple of weeks ago where you had a Russian military blogger unalive himself after finding out what the casualty numbers were at Avdiivka of over 17,000 reported casualties. They cannot keep this up. This myth that, oh, Russia just has like infinite manpower that it can just keep on throwing forever and ever and a day is not doable. And one of the things that made Ukraine so successful was because it had the tech advantages here, the artillery, with the better sort of positional artillery pieces that it had, so it can shoot and scoot a lot faster. They've become masters at that. Access to drone technology, something that Ukrainians have really almost pioneered throughout this war, something that should absolutely be looked at for the future of all modern warfare, and all armies going forward have to be aware. In fact, the British Army does now have a drone unit and an anti-drone unit developing combat tactics on this line. And I would not be surprised if they have spoken to a lot of Ukrainians in that, because obviously they've come here for training. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have, at least in some way, had talks with the Ukrainians over the use of drones on that matter. But as good as that has been, I think we have to talk about some of the ridiculous nonsense that was put forward by these right-wing Republicans to try and stop this bill, because they tried to tag this bill with so many ridiculous things. It's just unbelievable when you hear about some of them. But we're going to go into some of those because, oh boy, this should be highlighted And at least, you know, I've got to look at you, America, and go, hey, look, you know, people say this to me all the time. Why are there people still voting for conservatives over here? I don't know. But going through some of this, I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words, guys. Um, you know, maybe you can explain it below in the comments to me, but oh my, oh my. But before I do go getting into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to the Patreon page, to our donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course down below there's the Pony Club, etc., etc., all down below. Go check those out, guys. And of course, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help support the channel. So on with the rest. So what happened? And most of this stuff came from one individual. That was, of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or MGT, just for the shorthand, or Moscow Marjorie, as I suppose she should be known. Because she added an amendment, and I cannot believe she had the balls to try and add this, because she added an amendment which said that if America gives aid to Ukraine, like if this bill passes, and of course if this had been attached to the the bill, you know, they said that if this aid package got passed, then America should leave NATO. I am not joking. She put in an amendment which, if it had gone through, America would have had to have withdrawn from NATO. Now that's bad. That's incredibly bad. And we've warned before in the past about Donald Trump's comments and his sort of, commitments to NATO. But the fact that you now have people in the corridors of power on the Republican side, be they fringe as they might be, putting stuff that through is incredibly worrying. Incredibly worrying on that front. But that's not even the worst one. Oh, sorry, that is really bad. But that's not even the most bizarre one she put forward, because she put forward an amendment that said, if we pass this aid bill again, that America cannot use its space lasers in this conflict. For those of you who don't know space lasers, I didn't know America had space lasers. Well, believe it or not, MGT, infamous 9/11 conspiracy theorist as well, who promoted the theory that the Twin Towers were brought down by American space lasers. I just don't know how to respond to that. I just don't know. But and there were others. There were others that she put in, but they were not crazy. But those two were like the two that I have seen reported on, and two of them, like, first of all, trying to sort of force America out of NATO. That's bad enough on itself. But how are they like if that had passed, what's Biden to do? Just pull the switch and turn off the space lasers? bizarre, bizarre scenes indeed. But honestly, I am really glad that this has finally passed, because obviously we as Europeans have tried to pick up the slack during this time, during this period of when this aid package had not been passed and was causing mass shortages. Europe does not have the capacity that America has in its sort of military sort of building capacity. So as much as we did try to sort of fill the gap, we could not fill it by ourselves. But try as we did, Europe still does continue to be the biggest supporter and supplier of Ukrainian aid, but that can only go so far, because it obviously depends on your actual capacity to do that. And we do not have that same capacity, unfortunately, that America does. So I'm really glad that honestly this is passed. One of the interesting things, I'm not sure whether it did or did not get into the final bill, was that they wanted um, the president to come forward with a plan for victory. I mean, I'm not sure whether that passed or not, but if it did pass, um, and they have to come forward with this, we'll see what that says. Um, but we'll see if that. I don't even know if that actually was one of the ones that went through, but we'll see. We'll see. But oh boy, um, what an absolute fruit loop! What an absolute fruit loop! But on that front, we'll see you all, of course, next time. And of course, before you do go, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.